So the diet part. So without the diet, the practice of yoga will not get yield result. Without controlling the diet, the practice of yoga will not yield the optimum result. Like today they have yoga for better whatever, right? You put it in brackets. Yoga, yoga for better visit to Disneyland, or yoga for better, it's not yoga for better something. So what is the goal of yoga then? Let's ask our participants, then we can. So what is the goal of yoga? What is it to do you better for? Can anybody respond? Yes.
It's union between soul and God.
Tiffany, Mataji, would you like to share something?
I was going to say almost exactly what Prabhu just said about union between soul and God.
Union between soul and God. Yes, that is the ultimate goal. But then, why is it the physical asanas and pranayama? How is it related to this part?
Because through the physical postures, we can prepare the body to sit down and meditate.
Perfect. Perfect. That is the goal, right? So you need good health so that you can ultimately go into a state of meditation. You can heal the body, but you cannot sit and meditate if we have a sick body. So that is why even Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, health sadhana service. So health. So the first aspect of yoga is health. Good health leads to a good mind, leads to good practice, leads to good outcome. So it's like a domino effect. So good health. So we have definitely defined good health. Okay, so we will define good health. So maybe we can start with, let's see, let me ask who is present here. Baldev Prabhu, can you hear? Can you?
Hare Krishna, bro.
Hare Krishna, okay. So can you define good health? Where is it explained? What is good health?
Good health means no disease.
No disease, okay. What else?
Healthy, fit.
Healthy, fit, okay. No disease, healthy, fit, okay. Two things, okay. You can be no disease, but you can be lazy. So, okay. No disease, healthy, fit, okay. Two things. What else?
Mind is peaceful.
Mind is peaceful, excellent. And one more aspect is missing. Related only, mind covers that, but related to explicitly explain.
No anxiety, no stress.
No anxiety, no stress. So you are talking about Satya Yoga. So what we call, what is the other half of it? You're completely right. There's only one aspect which you have to add. Okay, maybe Mayuri can add that. Would you like to add something, Mayuri?
I'm not sure, Prabhu.
You're not sure. Okay. So you want to add that you're not sure what is good health. Okay. Anyway. So okay, let us define health, good health. And with this aspect, I want to explain the diet part. So the first aspect of good health is samadoshaha. So according to Ayurveda, our body is made up of the three doshas, right? Kapha, Pitta and Vata. Correct? So they should be in balance. That's the first line. Can everybody note it down? Kapha, Pitta and Vata should be in balance. Samadoshaha. Samagnischa. So the next thing we focus on is Agni. So the Agni should be balanced. Samadoshaha Samagnischa. So when you define good health, that means your digestion is good. So remember, the basic definition is proper digestion, proper excretion. Right? So if the toxins remain within your body for a long enough time, they cause disease if food is undigested. So the yogic premise of good health begins with proper digestion, proper excretion. So number one, so please note this down. So number one is samadosha, the balanced doshas. Samagnischa. So samagnischa means the Agni should be balanced. So we have 7 Agnis. So they should be balanced. Samadosha, samagnischa. The Agni should be balanced. So in your body, there should be enough fire, proper fire of digestion. So that is why in Ayurveda, when they detect the problem, so the first thing we detect is Mandagni, means low fire. If your fire is not strong enough, there is never too much fire. Because in today's world, people suffer more from indigestion than overdigestion. A lack of digestion. So first thing is, so we have to know, if somebody asks you what is health, a yogi should be able to define what is health. So begins with the samadoshaha, right? We should eat the correct dosa. Sorry, our dosha should be balanced. So samadosha, samagnischa. So then the fire, the Agni should be balanced, right? The Agni in the body should be balanced. Samagnischa. Samadhatu. We should have elements in the body in the right balance. So what is that? So dhatu means rasa, rakta, mamsa, medas, asti, majja, virya. So when you eat something, right, write this down, 7 steps. So this you will understand only by studying. Okay, first when you eat food, it becomes rasa, the first step of digestion. Okay, then it becomes rakta, means it becomes blood. So first thing that happens is, if when you eat the wrong food, your blood gets infected. Samagni, rasa, rakta, mamsa. Next is mamsa. Mamsa is muscles. The blood is converted into muscles. Rasa, rakta, mamsa. Muscles are converted into asti. So asti is bones. Bones. So bones are converted into bone marrow, majja. And bone marrow is converted into ojas shakti or semen. So that is why yoga also includes practice of moral principles. If moral principles are not followed, now losing, so ojas, so either it becomes spiritual energy or it becomes wasted in enjoying propensity. So that is called as losing your vitality. Now that can be in many different ways. Of course, there is a gross way where people, indulge in illicit relationships. But there is also different ways, even smoking, drinking, all these things. So they are also different ways of killing your vitality. So eating the wrong food also kills your vitality. Eating the wrong food also kills your vitality. Why? Because all the 7 levels of digestion, they don't happen properly. Right? So the highest level of intelligence, the ojas shakti. Suppose I am eating only French fries. So then what happens? Your blood is French fries. Your muscles are French fries. Your bones are French fries. Your Oja Shakti is French fry. So,
Is that why people say that you are filled with potatoes?
yeah.
Aloo bhare.
They say couch potato. Correct. So what happens is there is not even conversion to Oja Shakti because potatoes don't become Oja Shakti. That's why they become fat, because in your levels of digestion, what happens? The adipose tissue, the fat, you get stuck there. It is bad fat. It doesn't get converted. Only good fat gets converted into muscles. The bad fat, it doesn't get converted. So that's why anyone who takes up to yoga, bhakti, or anything, suppose we get addicted to the wrong foods and we think, why are we not progressing? Then we have to look at our food, right? Why are we putting on weight, right? The heavier you become, the better your yoga or bhakti. No, yes. So we have to become lighter. Sattva guna, what is the character of Sattva guna is Sattvam Laghu Prakashakam. Sattva guna means lightness. Prakashakam means knowledge. So when I read something, when I understand something, that knowledge sticks to you. So that is Sattva guna. Rajoguna means you see this is good, but you have the audacity to say it doesn't apply to me. Tamaguna means you ignore anyway. I know something good exists, but it's not for me. Rajoguna means I know it is good, but it doesn't apply to me. Correct? Right? So, Tamoguna means I even ignore what is there. So, yogi means he is in Sattva guna. He has to apply the principles. Right? Like my wife does every morning with chia water, lemonade, right? So, lightness every morning. So this is very important. So yogi cleanses the body, brings the body to the mode of goodness by melting the fat, right? Purging the fat. So we have fats in the body, fats in the mind, right? Sometimes we call, right, thick-headed. So that is the layer of fat. We cannot understand. But we can change that by the power of yoga and mantra. That is why there is mantra. Mantra is to change. So yoga is to change bodily karma, and mantra is to change the karma of the intelligence. So practicing something with knowledge gives you a better result. So you know what you are doing. So that is important. So that is why when we do the intermittent or fasting, or fasting, even in yoga, we have to understand why we are doing and what we are doing, right? So in yoga, there is okay, let us finish this definition. Samadosha, samagnischa, samadhatu, malakriyaha. Also the excretion should be proper within the body. We should have proper excretion. If we do not have proper excretion, then what happens? The toxins build up. You know, one of my friends from Switzerland, he was here, and he went to what is that? He went to a clinic, and in that clinic in Switzerland, and all that they were doing was administering enema. That doctor, he cured many people of migraines and many diseases just by enema, just by clearing their intestines. He said more the toxins remain in your intestine, and the longer they remain, it pollutes the entire body. The toxins go back up. Instead of going down and out, they are going back up. They recirculate within the body. So if the body doesn't eliminate waste soon enough, in a timely manner, then what happens? The toxins, they come back up and they mix with your blood. So that is the danger. Therefore, eating too much at night, heaviness that it creates, what it does, in the morning you are not evacuating properly because it is still digesting. When you sleep with the heavy stomach, the size of the stomach also grows because the food doesn't go down. If you see, when you eat, after you eat, what do you get? You get a burp. What is that sign of? That food is going from the stomach to the intestine. Right? When you get the burp, so it's moving. So whatever air was there, the air is coming out. It is said the first big burp you have to stop. That means the stomach cavity is full. When you eat. When you can't burp at all means, yes, that means you are done. If you eat more, you will die. The first big burp you have to stop. Then as it goes, like some people, they get a lot of burps, so there is air pressure imbalance. So basically it is the pressure. You have to see what happens is if your stomach is full and it is struggling to get into the intestine, so that's what happens at night. We eat heavy, and today working class people do the same thing. Most people that I see come across for yoga, they have such, one is heaviness, overweight, number one. Second is tightness in the body. Why is that? Because when you sleep with a heavy stomach, you don't sleep well. You need a longer sleep. When you sleep heavy, eating heavy at night, you need a longer sleep because the body is dividing its energy between digesting your food and giving you good rest. So when it does that, you don't have enough digestion going on well. And what happens? It divides the energy and you are weak. So you don't have to be like that. You have to eat early enough, and night should be less than half of your lunch. And then you sleep well, wake up, practice your yoga, practice your asana, pranayama, relax calmly, drink lots of fluids in the morning so that you get your circulation going, cleanse yourself, clean your mouth properly and your senses. And after that, then you will find that your hunger, you are not like attacking the food. We generally learn to attack the food, right? We eat out of stress. If you are always calm, you see, you can control. You are thinking. You are working at an intelligent level. A yogi works in a big factory. No, he works in Sattva Guna. He works in Sattva Guna, thinking what is right for him. Focusing, this is right for me. He eats the right things, right? So you eat the right stuff, you drink the right stuff. Then what happens when you eat that which can be digested quickly, right? Now give me examples of things that digest quickly and they don't remain very long.
Khichdi.
Fruit. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Tiffany, what were you saying?
Fruits.
Fruits. Okay. Fruits is before khichdi.
Okay.
Khichdi is again rice. I mean, that is okay. That is yogic food still when you eat it with ghee and hot and not mixed with too many spices or vegetables. But fruits digest first. Fruits, sprouts,
Oh, sprouts digest before khichdi?
Sprouts depends. If you saute them and it's a little hot, it's digest faster.
Oh,
Raw, raw food. So, but raw all the time is not good. So you need a mix, right? So morning and evening, you should eat something that digests even faster. Lunchtime, you can eat things which can digest slow, little bit slow, because you have enough time to digest till the night. Quinoa, all these things, barley, so they're all good. They digest, they don't remain in the stomach. But rice, chapati, right? So, and white flour, right? The slowest to digest is like paneer. As soon as I eat paneer, I feel like I ate some iron balls or something. It feels so heavy. Then there is puri, all these things. So we should eat something which is lighter, which is yogi is always light, right? No, you cannot be heavy and yogi. There is heavy metal, but there is no heavy yogi. There is only light yogi, right? So your so your diet makes you light or diet makes you heavy. So fasting, what it does, it removes the extra fat from the body. So fasting removes the extra fat, because in our body, whatever sugar and fat that we cannot digest, it is stored in the body as liver fat. So what do they call fatty liver? Right, later on, have you heard this? The only way to reverse fatty liver is to thin the liver, right? So how do you do that? By fasting. Because when you do regular fasting, like intermittent fasting, you don't eat at night, then what happens? The body, whenever it needs energy, there is so much energy which is stored in the liver, it begins to extract from that. So you need not worry. You may feel a little weak for some time, but then the body keeps using those extra reserves which you don't need. Now Purushottam month is coming, which is very good for performing austerities. So many people wrote to me, what do we do for Purushottam month? So for example, avoid pasta, pizza, right? That is the first thing we can do. Ekadashi pizza. So we should avoid heavy foods. So basically in yogic terms, you keep your body flexible. So flexibility means we eat food that is easily digestible. When you eat food that is heavy, then what happens? The body is in tamoguna. So your joints, all the pressure, the flexibility that needs to go, it is all air pressure, right? So when your stomach is heavy, what happens? Your joints also, the flexibility, the air pressure, the fluids and the air that is needed to make the hydraulic joints more flexible, that goes to the belly. So stomach becomes more flexible, right? Because you eat more. But that's not the flexibility we want. We want a strong stomach, tighter stomach, because many asanas, they depend on the strength of your abdomen. When you begin the sitting series in Ashtanga, it needs the strength of the abdomen. So your abdomen needs to be strong. When you bend forward, if your belly is bigger, the body cannot bend afterwards. Your stomach needs to fully go inside. So the belly needs to be really strong. So for that, you have to stop eating it. Not stop, I would say regulate eating at night. That's the main thing. The more we can control eating at night, and we eat mostly out of stress. And once we make it a lifestyle, then you will fare better. So if you want to improve your flexibility, samadosha samadnischa samadhatu malakriyaha prasanna atmendriya manaha. So the next part of the definition is prasanna. A yogi means he is always happy. Prasanna. Happy doesn't mean you are always clapping your hands and jumping. So happy means you are prasanna, that your senses are not agitated. Because in yama niyama, one of the things that you need to adapt in life in order to progress spiritually is satisfaction. You should be satisfied with what you have. Some people use philosophy to make themselves satisfied. See, I'm suffering this much, he's suffering worse. That is one level of satisfaction, but that is not what we want. Right? We have to be satisfied with what we have. Today morning, I was speaking to one devotee or Mataji, and it was very tough to convince. She was saying, everybody else is doing so much and this and that, and I'm not able to do so. I said, you are very unique. Everybody is unique in their own way, if we realize that. Right? Everybody has individual challenges. You never know what challenge the other person is going through. It doesn't matter what you have until the growth is internal. How much you do not feel the sharpness of lust, anger, greed, madness, enviousness in your heart, the more you feel peaceful within, that is the sign of yogic progress. The more you become neutral to this. The more we become neutral. Neutral in the sense, we don't think good or bad. We are like, we understand this is a real situation and we try to do our best. Right? So that comes in Sattva Guna. So regular practice. So once your body is come to Sattva Guna, then you know how to react properly. Okay. Somebody called her, I guess. So, but anyway, so we have to Prasanna Atma Indriya Manaha. So like Baldev Prabhu said, peaceful mind and peaceful senses. Peaceful senses and a peaceful mind. So the body is pure, clean. Senses are peaceful. The mind is also peaceful. That is important. Okay, so that gives a definition of good health. Correct? Any questions? Comments? Amrita has a question. No. Okay. You are already become peaceful and happy just listening to the definition.
Yeah.
See? So that is why you are what you eat. Or what you don't eat. You are what you fast. So it's very important that we eat right, sleep right. If you don't sleep well enough, if you don't sleep good enough, you know, and relationship is very important. Sometimes we don't even realize what we have. Everybody has a unique situation. Just like Pandavas were thrown into the forest. Pandavas did not complain, Krishna, what deal here? We were like children of demigods and 13 years, you know, like into the forest like refugees and, you know, so many difficulties. They did not put a complaint list together. So what did they do? They used that situation to empower themselves by developing such amazing skills. Arjuna, he developed such powerful archery. He got the weapons from Lord Shiva, from here, from there. So you see that. That's how we should be inspired. Everyone has a unique situation. Everyone is fighting a battle in their own life, right? You're first of all, we are all fighting a battle against time. No matter who your enemy is or not, but you are definitely battling time. Right? Everybody is struggling to get time in their hands, correct? Number one. Number two, one is time. Second, everybody is battling your own prarabdha karma. Literally, nobody is happy with what they have. Everybody thinks, if I had 1 more million, things would have been better, correct? Something like that. Or somebody is thinking, if I would have had better husband or better wife, always, that is the biggest question. or better child, better this, better that. We are all, so instead of that, if you look and be satisfied with what you have, I have a unique situation, how to make the best of, that's what the Pandavas did. They went to the forest. They all honed such powerful skills that when the battle came, they were ready for the battle. That's all. We all have a battle coming up. That is called death. A yogi is prepared for the highest battle. So we should all go through this purification and we should come to the mode of goodness. Then whatever level of karma that needs to be changed, the Lord will reciprocate. Dharmo rakshati rakshita. A yogi is always protected. So that is why Ishvara Pranidhana is the aspect of a yogi. Surrender unto Ishvara. Prasanna Atmendriya Manaha Swastha Ityavidhiyate. He is healthy. So first a yogi gets the body and mind right before you think of anything else. Right? So when you do asana, when you do cleansing, when you do pranayam, so all these things are taking you away from diseases of the body and diseases of the mind. Like, where did you go? Just one moment. Okay. No, I think it was here. Oh, it's here. So in this book, okay, so here he explains how to heal the diseases. For example, how to heal. So he says, for a yogi with clean eating habit, pure food, the koshas are cleaned by pranayama. When the koshas are clean, the body along with the indriyas become always clean. So for example, he says in the body there are 6 koshas. So first is called as swakosha. So swakosha, anna kosha, mutra kosha, mala kosha, rajo kosha, virya kosha. So first one has to, that happy steady state of mind is called shanti. To that peaceful mind, everything becomes readily accomplished. To those who are agitated by sense objects, this pranayama is the best refuge. So basically, I wanted to explain that if your body and mind are not peaceful, there is nothing much that you can achieve. So we have to make our body and mind peaceful. So that should be our goal. Okay. All right. So where is this? What happened to this? Okay. So, any questions so far in this? Clear? Okay, so if I just define, let us define once again. Let's get through your, Rajji, can you hear me? Hare Krishna. Okay, maybe. Prabhu, the first definition of good health, what did you understand?
You mentioned 3 points, right?
Okay.
Dosa, Samagni, Samadhatu, Malakriya.
Correct. Perfect. So samadoshaha, the three doshas should be balanced. Samagni, the Agni should be balanced, and Malakriya. Malakriya. Samadoshaha, Samagnischa, Samadhatu, Malakriya. Correct.
Yes, four, not three.
Samadoshaha, Samagnischa, Samadhatu, Malakriya. Then Prasanna, Atma, Indriya, Manaha. Okay? Eat right, sleep right, have a good lifestyle. So that is why there is also Yukta Hara Viharasya, Yukta Chestasya Karmasu, Yukta Swapna Avabodhasya, Yogo Bhavati Dukkhaha. Right? So first is eating right, Viharasya, going to the right place, Yukta Chestasya, proper desire, Karmasu, Yukta Swapna, sleep well, Avabodhasya, waking up at the right time, Yogo Bhavati Dukkhaha. That is the very important definition of good health. Okay. All right. So, any other quick questions, comments? Anybody would like to add? Oh, there was a question by Swapna. So the question is, what is the best snacks? So what is the best snacks, right? So that's a good question. So let me know from the audience.
Chia water.
Huh?
Chia water.
Chia water. No, I mean snacks. If you want to snack on something, what is the best thing to snack?
Don't snack.
Don't snack. Okay, that is the best thing to snack, is not to snack.
Earlier, people used to have just meals, no snacks.
Yes. So snacks is like a habit because of the stress. We generally try to just munch on something. But in what is that?
I would say fruits.
Fruits, okay. Fruits is one way. What else? Any other?
I feel like we can have whatever like sun dried, naturally dried.
So basically, avoid things which are fried. Okay. In between here and there, little bit of seeds like these pumpkin seeds, little bit, because they won't cause too much heaviness. So little bit pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds, and these things are okay. Little bit fruits. I think if you limit it to that, that is good enough. So if we can stick to that, that will be good enough for us.
Prabhuji, nuts is okay?
Nuts are healthy. But then again, depends on the quantity. If you make a full meal out of the snack, that is tough. You have to snack means just a little. That's the main thing. The portion control is the main thing when you want to snack.
Okay.
What is that? So portion control is very important. So if you are able to control the portion of the food.
So Prabhuji, what happens usually is when you want to snack, if it is out of stress, at least I tend to make a meal out of snack for sure.
Exactly. So that is why drinking more water in between or drinking chia water in between, if we make that habit of drinking water, it is better. rather than eating solids. Eat solid in a meal and then just relax to eat. Once you get into that snacking habit, very difficult to get out of it. Hmm?
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. That's why I didn't know how to control the snacking.
Hmm. So drink more water. Hmm? Drink more chia water. Just substitute with more water. The more water you drink, it's okay. It will help you heal the body also, rather than just snacking. Hmm?
Thank you.
That is mode of passion. Come to mode of goodness. Okay, so any other comments, questions before we end? Tomorrow we'll have a cooking session also. Today we are doing some photography. That's why the timing change happened. We are doing a complete photography for the website, so that's why we had to change the timing. Tomorrow we'll do the cooking also. Today we are just getting ready for a photographic session. Okay. All right. So I will stop here and we will continue tomorrow then. Okay. So I've already mentioned the time. So see you all tomorrow.
So, Prabhuji, are we going to have the evening yoga session
Today? Not today. Tomorrow we'll have.
tomorrow evening? Okay.
Yeah. Because today, like I said, after this,
Yeah, yeah.
we're spending the whole day with the photo for our new website. And we want to, once this is done, those guys who are doing website, they have enough stuff to munch. So then we can focus on back to teaching tomorrow. So,
Okay.
tomorrow we'll take that.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So I'll upload this recording soon. Thank you so much. See you all tomorrow.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.